Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Here.
Mr. Ray?
Here.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Here.
Mrs. Coons? Here. Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there a motion to accept?
Yes, I'll make a motion to excuse Mr. Eitner.
I'll second.
He
Thank
gave
you.
us plenty of time, a couple weeks that he could not make it here tonight.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Okay, we're looking for a motion to accept minutes from June 3rd, 2024 council meeting as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept minutes from June 3rd, 2024 council meeting as presented and not read.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes. Thank you. We're looking next for a motion to accept purchase orders from June 1st, 2024 to June 14th, 2024, totaling $758,016.61. As presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept purchase orders from June 1st, 2024 to June 14th, 2024, totaling $758,016.61 as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Thank you. We're looking next for a motion to accept bills from June 1st, 2024 to June 14th, 2024, totaling $878,024.87.
I'll make a motion to accept bills from June 1st, 2024, June 14th, 2024, totaling $878,024.87 as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Thank you. We're looking next for a motion to accept May 2024 bank reconciliation report as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept bills from June 1st, 2024 to June 14th, 2024.
Wrong one.
No.
Oh, sorry, wrong one. Motion to accept May 2024 bank reconciliation
There you go.
reports as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Wrong line.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. We're moving next into the reading of ordinances and resolutions, please.
Resolution number 7362-2024, a resolution to adopt the 2024 Summit County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan. Whereas the Village of Lakemore recognizes the threat that natural hazards pose to people and property within the Village of Lakemore, and whereas the Village of Lakemore has prepared a multi-hazard mitigation plan, hereby known as 2024 Summit County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan, in accordance with federal laws, including the Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act as amended, the National Flood Insurance Act of 1968 as amended, and the National Dam Safety Program Act as amended. And whereas 2024 Summit County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan identifies mitigation goals and actions to reduce or eliminate long-term risk to people and property in the Village of Lakemore from the impacts of future hazards and disasters. And whereas adoption by the Village of Lakemore demonstrates its commitment to hazard mitigation and achieving the goals outlined in the 2024 Summit County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves to adopt the 2024 Summit County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan. While content related to the Village of Lakemore may require revisions to meet the plan approval requirements, changes occurring after adoption will not require the Village of Lakemore to re-adopt any further iterations of the plan. Subsequent plan updates following the approval period for this plan will require separate adopted resolutions. Section 2, that is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, this resolution shall go into effect on and after the earliest period allowed by law. Resolution number 7370-2024. This is a second reading by title only. A resolution accepting the 2025 alternative tax budget for the Village of Lakemore. Resolution number 7371-2024. A resolution authorizing the village administrator to apply for, accept, and enter into a cooperative agreement for engineering of the sanitary sewer improvement project Phase 2 between the Village of Lakemore and the Ohio Water Development Authority and declaring an emergency. Whereas the Village of Lakemore, hereinafter referred to as the Local Government Agency, or LGA, and whereas the local government agency is applying for the engineering of the sanitary sewer improvement project Phase 2. Whereas the local government agency desires to obtain a loan from the Ohio Water Development Authority, hereinafter referred to as the OWDA, to finance costs of the planning of such facilities of the terms set forth in the cooperative agreement defined below. And whereas the OWDA has indicated its willingness to make a loan for that purpose and on those terms. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio, Section 1, that the LGA hereby approves the planning of the aforesaid sanitary sewer improvement Phase 2 in cooperation with the OWDA under the provisions, terms, and conditions set forth in the cooperative agreement for state planning project as set forth in Exhibit A, the cooperative agreement, and hereby authorizes the Chief Executive Officer and the Chief Fiscal Officer of the LGA to execute the cooperative agreement with the OWDA substantially in the form set forth in Exhibit A. Section 2, that it is found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution or ordinance were passed in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, that this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, and safety of said Village of Lakemore, for the reason that the immediate construction of the sanitary sewer improvement Phase 2 at the earliest possible time is necessary in order to protect the health of the inhabitants of the LGA by providing improvements to the sanitary sewer system, wherefore this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and immediately after its passage. Resolution number 7372-2024, a resolution amending Resolution 7351-2024, accepting the proposal from Hamilton and Associates Limited to include sewer extensions for Wilson, Josephine, and Raymond in the sanitary sewer improvement project Phase 2. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council accepts to amend Resolution 7351-2024 to include sewer extensions for Wilson, Josephine, and Raymond Avenue and the sanitary sewer improvement project Phase 2. Section 2, the estimate for these services is $8,000. The proposal is attached here to and made part of as the fully written herein. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all such deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution should take effect immediately. Ordinance number 1855-2024. An ordinance amending the Village of Lakemore Ordinance 1361-2005 in its entirety, Section 603.01, Fences and Walls, Whereas Village of Lakemore Council agrees the current fence regulations should be updated and be amended as follows. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Village of Lakemore Council hereby amends Ordinance 1361-2005, Section 603.01, Fences and Walls, with new Section 603.01, which shall provide the following. A, Village of Lakemore zoning code allows fences to be placed in the side and rear yards of residential property, provided such fence is no less than 30 feet from the intersection of two or more streets. B, no fence may be installed outside of the building setback lines on a corner lot, except in the case of a defined side yard with more than 30 feet of distance between the right-of-way and building setback line. In such cases, the fence may be installed no less than 30 feet from the right-of-way line. C, fences are recommended to be placed on property lines when possible in order for areas between neighboring fences to be properly maintained. Fences are not required to be placed on the property lines. Property owners are responsible for maintaining areas on their property outside of fenced areas. D, fences may be up to 6 feet in height. E, fences shall have a uniform open area of at least 50%, except as provided herein, and except when the erection of a fence is required for screening as specified in Section 603.8. F, chain link and privacy fence is permitted. G, barbed wire and electric fences are prohibited in the village regardless of height or location. H, no fence may attach to a neighboring fence. I, the finished or decorative side of the fence shall face the street of adjoining neighbor. J, refer to Section 603.2 for regulations on fencing for pools. K, the placement of fences on any property is to restrictions within utility, drainage, or other easements as well as riparian areas. If a riparian area exists on a parcel, zoning application may be forwarded to the Summit Soil and Water Conservation District for review and approval. L, Village of Lakemore zoning code requires any fence in a riparian area receive a variance. Riparian areas cannot be disturbed in any way and must remain in their original vegetative state per Summit County Ordinance 937 and Village of Lakemore regulations. M, no fence shall be erected, constructed, moved, or replaced until a zoning permit has been approved and issued by the zoning inspector. No permit is required for minor repairs on an existing fence. N, all fencing must always be maintained in good repair. Any exposed wood surface shall be stained or painted. O, no solid wall may be erected, constructed, moved, or replaced until a zoning permit has been issued by the zoning inspector and a building permit has been issued by the building inspector. Any proposed construction of a solid wall, along with a complete site plan, shall be submitted to the Lakemore Planning Commission for review before any permits will be issued. Section 2, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this ordinance were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Ordinance number 1857-2024. An ordinance to amend Ordinance 318-1949 and 354-1951 to amend the time and place for holding of the regular and special meetings of the Council of the Village of Lakemore. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council agrees to amend Ordinance 318-1949 and 354-1951 to amend the time and place for holding of the regular and special meetings of the Council of the Village of Lakemore. Section 2, regular and special council meetings will start at 6 p.m. in the Administration Building located at 1400 Main Street, Suite C. Section 3, all ordinances, resolutions, and parts of ordinances and resolutions which are in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed. Those ordinances, resolutions, and parts of ordinances and resolutions which are not in conflict with any provision of this ordinance are hereby expressly accepted from repeal by this ordinance and shall continue in full force and effect until otherwise amended or repealed by council. Section 4 of this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest code allowed by law. Ordinance number 1858-2024. An ordinance to amend ordinance 1833-2023, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves to increase appropriations in General Fund $21,000 for Dominion Gas, RETA retainer fees, and the law enforcement deductible. Street Construction Maintenance and Repair Fund 2011, $2,000 for Dominion Gas. Lakemore Fire EMS Grant Fund 2052, $193,183.10 to purchase fire turnout gear from the FEMA AFG grant. Emergency Medical Services 2901, $5,000 for EMS collections. Water Operating Fund 5101, $3,500 for Dominion Gas. Sewer Operating Fund 5201, $11,000 for Dominion Gas and Hammondtree Services for the Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project Phase 2. Section 2, Council approves to increase revenues in Lakemore Fire EMS Grant Fund 2052, $193,183.10 from the FEMA AFG grant. Section 3, Council approves to transfer funds from General to General Obligation Bond Retirement Fund 3101, $15,377.25 to pay the USDA Bond Series 2017 and Bond Series 2018 loans. Section 14, Treasury for payments from any of the foregoing appropriations upon receiving prop certificates and vouchers, therefore, approved by the board or officers authorized by law to approve the same, or an ordinance or resolution of council to make the expenditures, provided that no warrants shall be drawn or paid for salaries or wages except to persons employed by authority of and in accordance with law or ordinance. It shall be provided further that the appropriations for contingencies can only be expended upon appeal of 2/3 vote of council for items of expense constituting a legal obligation against the village for purposes other than those covered by other specific appropriations herein made. Section 5, this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore, Ohio. Therefore, this ordinance shall go into effect immediately. Ordinance number 1859-2024. An ordinance amending the Village of Lakemore Ordinance 1361-2005, Section 603.2B, pool enclosures, and Section 603.2C, pool location. Whereas Village of Lakemore Council agrees the current pool enclosure regulations should be updated and be amended as follows. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Village of Lakemore Council hereby amends Ordinance 1361-2005, Section 603.2B, pool enclosures, which shall provide the following. A, all residential outdoor swimming pools shall be located on the same property as the principal structure, set back a minimum of 5 feet from the required side lot line and rear lot line, and a minimum of 10 feet from the principal structure. B, the swimming pool area, rim, or the entire property on which it is located shall be fenced to prevent uncontrolled access. Said fence shall be no less than 72 feet in height, nor more than 76 inches, and maintained in good condition, with self-enclosing, self-locking gates at all points of entry, including from decks. In lieu of an area or yard fence, an attached manufacturer-approved rim fence may be installed with gates at all entrances to the water. C, such fence shall be constructed to have no openings, holes, or gaps larger than 3 inches. An accessory building may be used as part of such enclosure. D, any pool for the use of occupants of multifamily dwellings containing over 3 apartments or units, or those that are accessory to a non-residential use shall meet the structural and sanitary requirements of the Ohio Department of Health. E, the pool shall be intended and used solely for the enjoyment of the occupants of the principal use of the property on which it is located. F, outdoor community pools shall be set back a minimum of 50 feet from interior lots within the development and 150 feet from any lot outside of the development as measured from the edge of the water. G, the construction, plumbing, and electrical requirements, inspections, and other safety facilities shall comply with all applicable county or state codes. Section 2, Village of Lakemore Council hereby amends Ordinance 1361-2005, Section 603.2C, pool location, which shall provide the following. No swimming pool shall be located in any front yard, on any lot, or between any street and any building line. A swimming or wading pool may be located in part of the rear yard behind a residence as an additional accessory use. No swimming pool may be placed closer than 10 feet to the principal structure or 5 feet from any property line. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this ordinance were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action when meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Ordinance number 1860-2024, an ordinance to amend Ordinance 1849-2024, Village of Lakemore Employee Policies and Procedures Manual to change compensatory time. Whereas the Lakemore Police Department has created a department policy that should be adopted into the Village of Lakemore Employee Policies and Procedures Manual. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council agrees to amend Ordinance 1849-2024, Village of Lakemore Employee Policies and Procedures Manual to adopt the Lakemore Police Department's policy for compensatory time in Section 6.13.3, compensation. Section 2, all ordinances, resolutions, and parts of ordinances and resolutions which are in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed. Those ordinances, resolutions, and parts of ordinances and resolutions which are not in conflict with any provision of this ordinance are hereby expressly accepted from repeal by this ordinance and shall continue in full force and effect until otherwise amended or repealed by council. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this ordinance were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced at the earliest period allowed by law.
Thank you. Okay, we're moving into the mayor's report. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who filled in for me while I was out of town for the last couple of weeks. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you running the meeting, Laura, and all the other meetings, and Council and Tracy and Megan, thank you for stepping up when you had to. Appreciate that. I would also like to extend our deepest condolences, to the family of Hunter Eby, who, you know, as most all of us in the room know, passed tragically not so long ago. So we want to extend our deepest condolences still to the family. And I have one more thing. Just June 26th at 5 p.m. is the Lakemore United Methodist Church food pantry, Lakemore Food Pantry at the church. That's all I got. Council report, Mrs. Cochran.
Okay, I just have a save the date for everyone. The Lakemore Fire Department will be hosting a spaghetti dinner as a fundraiser, and it is going to be on August 3rd. So please put that on your calendar. It is going to be held at the Lakemore United Methodist Church from 4 to 7. Tickets are $12 for adults, $7 for children, and at the time that you purchase them, you're gonna either tell us whether it's dine-in or carry-out. So there will be carry-out options there, but so that we can plan ahead for how many to have ready for carry out. There's a box on the ticket that you will check. And this is all I have.
Cool. I don't have a lot. In honor of Ed, I just want to remind everybody to not rake or blow leaves into reasonable roadways or waterways, to avoid negative effects of Springfield Lake, and also to protect motorcyclists. And I forget what you drive, like little Coleman.
Oh, my little scooter.
Yeah, like scooters.
Yeah, make sure you
'cause
clean
it's
up your
dangerous for
grass.
that.
I don't need to slip and get
Right.
hurt. Thanks,
And
Sam.
on top of that, there's a lot of people with ditches in their yard, and it would be a great thing. I know that a lot of people don't like the overgrown tall grass in there and stuff, but it's really beneficial, and so you should really even plant like wildflowers that love to just absorb all of the water. It's a huge thing. So I know it might not be as pleasing to the eye as fresh cut grass, but I mean, it's a great barrier for water retention.
Okay, just want to bring about Springfield and Lakemore Community Channel 1023. They serve the communities by providing access to local government meetings and programming and information of community events. They are currently running some special programs. You can turn into Spectrum Channel 1023 for the recent programming, and to view the current program schedule, go to the channel's Facebook page or go online to Springfield Township US. Right now, they're showing the Top 25 Excellence Banquet for graduating class of 2024. Our council meeting from the 6th. They've also have a memorial program from a 9/11 memorial program from a Super Learning Center playing right now. Springfield Township Trustees meeting from April 25th, and they also have the Springfield Junior High choir concert going on. You can also, if you have an event coming up or activity in the Lakemore Springfield community area, you can always contact somebody they'll come out, and they feel it's worth showing, just like ours coming up on the 29th, which happens to be our fishing derby. It is going to
Good
be the
segue.
next
It was a good
Bass
segue.
Masters. Yes, it was. Our little fishing derby with the kids is June 29th, it's Saturday, from 9 to noon. We have multiple sponsors showing up. We have fishing poles for the kids, and if you don't have a fishing pole, we'll have loaners for you from the Department of Wildlife. I know the pit stop is supplying lunch. We have some prizes and giveaways from Berkeley and Fenwick. Both of those fishing rod or fishing companies. Port Summit is
I
supplying
already got
ribbons.
we got trophies again.
Trophies.
And Summit Soil will
Some-
be there, and I think ODNR's gonna try to be there too.
So come on out, watch. It's great watching the smiles on the kids' faces when they catch their really big fish. So come on out and enjoy the day. It's a good time.
Thanks, John. Vicki.
I don't have much other than that we're gonna have our fishing derby that we're really excited about, and Tracy put some sprinklers down at the lake just to cool off the kids. So if you're down there and you see the sprinkler going, you can be 80 or you can be 8. Go run through it. Okay, it's fine. Just go get cooled off. It's gonna be a hot week, so everyone stay safe and stay cool. And yeah, I don't have much other than enjoy your summer and go see the sprinkler and go to the fishing derby. And that's all I got.
With these sprinklers, I don't think they're gonna be there all summer. This is just
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of
it's just hot
to,
days.
you know, because it's gonna be in the 90s. That's, we don't normally have, you know, a long stretch of that hot of weather. So this is just kind of gonna be, you know, kind of a thing to let the kids come down and enjoy the park and kind of cool off a little bit and things like that. So this is not gonna be our new, unfortunately, our
Splash
new,
pad.
not
Listen,
new.
one day we're getting
you know,
a splash pad. I've already
yeah,
decided in my
yeah.
mind.
So-
So
So
We'll find a
so
grant, right,
sorry to
Tracy?
tell Nikki, this is not gonna be our unofficial splash pad, for the remainder of the
we
season.
can go get
but-
some of them like water slides or something. I don't know.
Right,
Make our own
right.
splash pad down there.
Yes, and then to piggyback off of Sam in honor of Ed, we also try to remind people, in addition to the grass clippings and things like that that have negative effects on the lake, we ask that you try not to use pesticides to take care of things in your grass. We also ask that you not use fertilizers and things like that, because all of that goes to the lake, which has negative effects, and we're trying to clear up the lake, so every little bit helps. So we are planting trees. We planted some trees back here. We got some, I believe we got some grants to purchase.
We did, and the
trees.
We
mayor
just bought
went.
18 today.
Yes,
The
so we
mayor
got
just
some
went by.
grants
Oh my
too.
God.
Yeah.
I bought 18 trees today.
Yeah, so with that, all that kind of soaks up,
Megan picked them up.
you know, soaks up the water, and all that water will,
Girl.
you know, keep it from going to the lakes, but it's gonna take a long time for those trees to get to that point that it helps. So we just ask that you not use pesticides and fertilizers, because all of that does have a negative effect. But it's gonna look really nice in the village, having a lot more trees to help with the environment, things like that, especially the willow trees, because those soak up a lot
Got one of them.
water.
You got another willow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And just like to also, the next council meeting will be July 1st and July 15th, each at 7 o'clock. And then the next council workshop will be June 25th and July 10th, each at 6 o'clock. Starting in August, the council workshops will be on the second and fourth Tuesday of the month. So the council workshops, instead of one being on the first one on a Wednesday and then the second one on a Tuesday because of the food pantry, we're just going to move the first one to a Tuesday, so they're both going to be on Tuesdays from going forward. So believe that is all that I have. So.
And everyone did catch that our meeting times are gonna be at 6 o'clock. I know it was in the legislation, but sometimes you might get a little bit lost in there.
We got 3 reads on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't know if, you know, just
What's
point
it-
that out, that we are
keep pointing
switching
out.
it.
Good to
Yeah.
keep pointing it
Because
out.
that is something that people are used to 7 o'clock, and we don't want you to come down at 7. There's time, but just,
Yeah.
It's only been 7 o'clock for a short period of time. I think it was like 1951.
50s. Yeah.
Yeah.
we're trying to get Megan and Tracy out of here a little sooner in the day, right, guys? So,
Your
we're
report.
good.
So the sprinklers are for sure for this week if we have some interest. We do have some of the local churches who've been kind of driving by, and if they see a bunch of kids, they might show up with some snacks or maybe lunch. We are also coordinating with our local churches and Habitat for Humanity to try to give some assistance to our residents, whether it's helping them mow their grass. I think they were helping somebody clean out their gutters. We're trying to help some with a little more extensive, getting grants to work on their houses. So I want people to get a hold of me, or they can just stop down and Tracy McMenemy will take a note, name and phone number and what you might need done. So we're gonna work together.
That's awesome.
And one thing that if you're done.
Yep.
One thing that I would also like to remind people, if you have elderly neighbors, because of such excessive heat for a prolonged period of time, some of them have circulatory issues, so they think it's freezing when it's 90-something years old. My grandmother did this, so that's how I know. She always, middle of July, had lap blankets and gloves on. I'm like, Grandma, what are you doing? But anyway, so a lot of times they think it's a little colder than what it is, and they end up, having, overheating and things like that, and having medical issues. So if you have elderly neighbors or elderly relatives, please check on them. Do what you can. If they don't have air conditioning or fans or something like that, also contact
Contact
Tracy, contact anybody. We can see
I
what we
find
can
people.
do.
I just did that Saturday.
Yes.
For
So
somebody.
just kind of be mindful of, the elderly and, the really young as well. So
Or if they don't feel comfortable, give me their name, give me an address, and we will bug them and make sure that they are okay. And if they need
Yeah.
something, we'll do our best to help them. So
yeah, I mean, we kind of, we're such a small, tight-knit group. We kind of know elderly people if they have issues and things like that. But sometimes, things happen and people kind of can sometimes fall through the cracks. So just check on your elderly neighbors and make sure that they're doing okay. So,
Check on your people.
Yeah.
I
On
see
your
that
people.
all the time.
Yeah.
yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
thanks. I just had one more thing. I didn't know if anyone was gonna mention it, but the Springfield Cares annual backpack giveaway is happening on August 3rd.
The same day
The
as
same
our
day,
dinner.
same day and same place.
So we'll be there.
Lakemore United
Yes,
Methodist
we'll
Church
just
at
stay.
9 o'clock in
9
the
to
morning.
noon.
They're prepping for about 500 backpacks. So hopefully, if there's a need, you'll show up and get your backpack chock full of school supplies like they do every year. It's a wonderful
And then
event.
come back a few hours later for dinner.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah,
I don't even
we
want to
should-
hear the word backpack yet. I just put the backpack in the closet. I'm not ready to get a new one
Right.
yet.
August 3rd. You have a little time, but that's the last thing I have for my report. Next is appearing before council. Mr. Jurgen, the floor is yours.
For 3 minutes.
3 minutes? Yeah, Mrs. Cochran, would you time it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
After he gives his name
Name
and
and
address.
address. Okay.
My name is John Jurgen, 1177 Hanover Drive, Lakemore. I want to say a few more things about squad building. The Suffield Township Squad has saved my life personally, saved my wife's life several times. You cannot repay that debt. I don't care what you do, you can't. So you do what you can do. What I did was support the department through the community, to the trustees. I would donate cash in a boot, on 9/11, or then you have open house, for help out with meals. I helped on the levy committee as the treasurer of the fire levy committee. And one evening, the chief came to the house with 2 captains and gave me this. I'd like to pass it around and show you. I cherish this.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
That's nice.
It's nice.
So that gives you a little background. So onto the bill. I don't intend to pay that bill. One, because I don't believe residents, tax-paying residents that are paying for the infrastructure, paying for the departments, should be billed for those runs. As they shouldn't be billed for a fire engine to come out and put out the fire. And they aren't, And I don't think I want to send Life Force $50
That's nice.
and have them take a slice off the top, send Ms. Pittman what's left, hopefully you get some. So, that didn't seem like a smart idea. Okay, so how do I intend to pay this? I think I directly donate it to the firehouse. Well, you can't just go over there and give them a $50 bill, because that cash is kind of sticky in the accounting sense. I understand that. So what could I do? Last week I got the Acme ad. In it, there's their 7 weeks of summer steak specials. First week was Delmonico ribeyes. That's a good idea. So I went over to Acme and I bought $120 worth of Delmonico ribeye steaks on sale for $60. Put them in a box, took them to the firehouse, hoping to speak to the chief. They were not there, so got a couple firefighters. I said, here's the short story. Please advise the chief what this is for, what's going on. With it, I gave him a copy of my invoice, a copy of Acme's receipt,
Oh, 3 minutes.
Let him pass the
Yeah.
and I'm sorry, I'm one short.
That's okay.
No,
That's
it's
okay.
Oh, that's okay, I can try.
I got 2.
We're good.
Oh, you got 2? That's fine.
Yeah.
Not one short.
Do you want me to?
No, I got 2.
I can.
That's
No, I got 3.
We've got
Okay.
enough.
Okay.
There's enough.
So, that's how I intended to settle mine. debt to.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you didn't have to do that, but I'm sure they are so grateful.
Yes.
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank
But
you.
like, I think we told you when
You aren't,
2
so
weeks
the
ago.
reason why you get a bill is because we want to make sure that you know what your insurance is getting billed. You wouldn't want it to fall through the cracks and get assessed. You wouldn't want it to go to the state attorney general's office. You wouldn't want a bill hanging out there that maybe your insurance changed, you don't have insurance, Medicare hasn't paid yet. You're informed, you're educated. You don't pay anything more than what your insurance would pay.
Well, I get that with my estimate
Okay.
of benefits, EOBs. from
You
my
do,
insurance.
but not everybody does.
Okay, and secondly, being it's an Aetna Medicare policy, take the assignment, take the Medicare
And
assignment.
you get that, but not everybody does. Not everybody's in the same boat, not everybody has the ability to go online, hit an app.
What, you know, what you don't want is somebody going, you know, I really don't have this $25, or I don't have this copay, or I don't have this money. And
And
not call the squad, get in the car, we'll just go down to the hospital. And you don't make it, because you don't have oxygen in your back of your Honda, and you don't have the
and
CPR.
we've
equipment and this
always
and that.
told them.
And in
So
fact,
we
I know
always
that I
tell
told
residents.
you 2 weeks ago at our last meeting that you're not expected to pay. You'll get one
Correct.
bill, you'll probably get a second, it is written off.
We write
Most
them off.
Everybody that already lives in Lakemore knows that, we have said it before, but I know
Okay,
you're
well,
new
You,
I
here.
mean,
you just
usually-
call now.
usually
If
what-
you're not
what had
sure,
happened
you
in
can
the
all call
past-
now.
Oh,
From
absolutely.
being on the fire department. What happened in the past is somebody would get a bill like that, they'd call the fire chief, and he would explain to them that it's just paperwork, it's just, you do not have to pay
It's
the bill.
just part of the
It's a soft bill. It's
process.
just part of the process that, the way that it is done here. I mean, every department's different, every department does it a different
And if they don't
way.
call the fire department, if they just go, oh, geez, a bill, I better get the checkbook out and pay this.
You'd be surprised if they.
And then say, and then go, you know, we can get the medicine prescription refilled next month, we gotta pay this bill this
But if you're not ever sure, all
Just
you gotta
call.
do is
Just
call.
call.
But this
But
was
thank-
really nice.
But
Thank you for doing
I know,
that.
that made, I'm
Yeah.
sure that made that
Thank
happen.
you.
I'm sure it did.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Not that I'm ready to go back.
Mayor?
Just to address,
Are we ready
there
to
you
move
go,
on?
there's your, that's lovely. Just to address that fact, and I did not know, and my ex got a bill, you know, for his hospital ride, downtown and things like that. And, I had a question, and I actually had asked Tracy as well, because I thought, oh, the residents don't pay. He received a bill, and I asked her, so it does happen. You know, and I was in kind of a different situation. I asked him on his behalf because it was a mutual aid thing where Springfield had to take him. So I was kind of like, okay, well, Springfield took him. Do we pay Springfield? Do we pay you? So there is confusion sometimes on behalf. So we're not saying you have to pay this. And it's kind of a good thing that you did bring this to some people's attention by this being televised and things like that, to kind of, you know, if people don't know
Educate.
that is the situation and things like that, because we do have people moving in and out of the village and things like that. But I, you know, knock on wood, I don't think that we've had a situation where somebody has said, I'm not gonna call 911 and go to the hospital and things like that. We have never been made aware of any situations like that. So I could see where that would be a concern, and I could see where the bill coming in, you know, people are like, oh my gosh, we have to pay this, and especially, you know, not knocking elderly or boomers or anything like that.
That's right.
They don't know, and they are like, I pay my bills, I wanna make sure that, you know, things are taken care of, and I wanna take care of this. So there are things that people don't always know, especially being, you know, transplants and things like that. But from the standpoint of the village, this is mainly because of the way that we do our record keeping. So this is like, we know what is going out, we know what's coming in and things like that. So, you know, it's not a situation where, you know, we want people to think, I don't want to pay another bill, which is understandable. So, you know, this is probably, you know, if your wife or you end up going to the hospital, you will get a bill again, but, you know, you don't have to pay it. Do not feel obligated to pay it. It will be written off after so many, you know, things. So this is just the way that we keep our records. So that's just my 2 cents. So, but this was very nice of you to do for our
Absolutely.
fire department. So,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, let's,
Yes, old business?
let's do this.
Okay.
Mrs. Cochran and Mr. Strittmatter.
I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 1855-2024, an ordinance amending the Village of Lakemore's ordinance number 1361-2005 in its entirety, section 60301, fences and walls.
Second.
Any discussion?
I
Roll
think-
call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Okay, John.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7362-2024, a resolution to adopt the 2024 Summit County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Hey, new business, Mr. Ray for 2, and then Mr. Strittmatter again.
Alright, cool. I'm out of order, but I would like to make a motion to adopt resolution 7372-2024. This is a resolution amending resolution 7351-2024, accepting the proposals from Hammond and Associates to include sewer extensions for Wilson, Josephine, and Raymond, and the sanitary sewer improvement project phase 2. But first, I would like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 readings.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
I'll
No.
second the original.
Any discussion, council? Roll call, please.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Alright, cool. And then next up, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 1858-2024. This is an ordinance to amend ordinance 1833-2023, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 readings on this one.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes. I'll second the original as well.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7371-2024, a resolution authorizing the village administrator to apply for, accept, and enter into cooperative agreement for the engineering of the sanitary sewer improvement project Phase 2 between the Village of Lakemore and the Ohio Water Development Authority and declaring it an emergency. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads.
Second.
Roll call. Roll call.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
I'll second the original.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
It's all on the agenda.
We don't have any reason tonight to go into an executive session, so I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Nice. Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
Aw, good
Let's go
meeting.
plant trees, council.